folks, Rodney back again with Rodney's Northwest Riding Reviews. It has been a little while since I've put out a video, and the biggest reason that it has been is that I've been waiting for my new Tacoma to show up. I had put my name on a Tacoma, gosh, it's been, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago. Right after I did, they came out with a 28-day quality control hold, and so that kind of slowed the process down. And then it went from 28 days to 42 days. And so I still don't have my Tacoma yet. It's the quality control hold has been released, and so I'm sure there's probably others of you that are kind of in the same situation. You've probably been waiting for one, and then they came out with a quality control hold. You probably didn't get a lot of information from the dealership, unfortunately. But just let me tell you that it has been released. It seems like almost all of them got released at the same time. Now, a lot of people don't completely understand what is a quality control hold. So a quality control hold can be similar to a recall. Most of the time, it's some sort of an inspection. So whether they found something, meaning they needed to go back and maybe recheck the torque on a bolt or two, or just do an inspection of some sort, that's typically what it is. If it was a recall, the vehicle would not be released to the dealership. So let's say, for instance, it's in transit, it hits the port, there's a quality control hold. They won't release that vehicle to the dealership until that recall or quality control hold has been performed. So because all of them got released at the same time, looks like most of them got released at the same time, I would say it was some sort of an inspection. Now, if you have a vehicle that you're waiting on, so let's say you put a deposit on a vehicle that was coming in and you just like kind of an update on what's going on, feel free to send me your VIN number. I'd be more than happy to get you an update on that. It won't tell you exactly when the vehicle will be arriving, but it will kind of tell me where it's at. I can kind of give you an idea, how long it should be before it actually arrives at the dealership. I can show you when it's actually been built. And if it is on a quality control hold for some reason, I'll be able to tell you that as well. So go ahead and send me the VIN number. One thing I would mention, and I mentioned this in previous videos, because I do work for a Toyota dealership, I do have the ability to see this information. But when a vehicle is allocated, so on an allocated vehicle, what that means is that they've told the dealership, hey, this is what we're going to be sending you. Here's a temporary VIN number. This is when it's going to get built, and you can see all the details about the vehicle and typically pricing. Once it's been built, it goes from a temporary VIN number to a permanent VIN number. So make sure and find out, has it already been built? And if so, please send me the permanent VIN number, not a temporary VIN number. The way you know it is in the last 5 digits of the VIN number itself. If it has a letter in there, that means it's still a temporary VIN number. So make sure you have the right VIN number before you see it. Now, it's been very confusing. You guys have probably gone on to Toyota.com, and you've probably used their build tool and probably see all the different packaging that you can get for the vehicle. It's difficult to know exactly what's in the packaging, and I'll give you an example. In the very beginning, they had and I'm getting a Tier D off-road, but they had a Tier D off-road upgrade package. And in that package, in the early beginnings, it showed that it was going to have heated and ventilated seats, but it was going to be cloth interior. And I mentioned in a previous video that I have never seen a Toyota vehicle that had cloth interior that had both heated and ventilated seats. It has to have some sort of holes in there to be able to pass the air through. And so sure enough, as time went on, they changed it. Well, what they didn't tell us is that in this Tier D off-road upgrade package, that it would come standard with heated seats. But we also saw some of them, like for instance an SR5 model, that you could get heated seats with. So it was quite confusing, and so I finally tracked a vehicle down that I saw in a video. Sorry, that's bright. And found out what dealership it was going to, and actually called the dealership and asked them just to confirm for me if it had heated seats in that package, and sure enough it did. So we know that that's going to be the case. Now, what we don't know, and I think that I do know, I see some of these vehicles that have the Tier D off-road upgrade package that has the 14-inch monitor. is that going to be standard equipment? And so I've seen enough videos that I think that it's not going to be, but it is an option. And Toyota doesn't give us the ability to go on ahead and request anything. Now, we can do what they call a boss change, and a boss change typically is could be something like a interior color change, it could be an exterior color change, it could be port installed options. It doesn't happen all the time, no, but we can definitely request it. If your vehicle that you've got coming in, let's say for instance it's less than 3 weeks before it's going to be built, the chances of that boss change taking place is not very likely. When we early on looked like we were only getting TRD Sport models with the premium package, and so we decided to go in there and try to make some requests and change maybe like the exterior color, because they were sending 3 of them that were all silver in color. Not a single one of the boss changes that we put in on a Tacoma yet has actually taken place. So I would kind of keep that in mind, that if you're expecting that to change, it may not happen. But anyway, I live on the West Coast, I'm in Oregon, and so all of the vehicles that we've seen, the premium packages that is, have been TRD Sports. We've not seen a single, at least our dealership, not seeing a single TRD off-road with the premium package. But yet we've received allocations for 4 different TRD Sports. 3 of them were silver, 1 happened to be black. What I have seen, and this is just kind of looking through everybody's inventory, what I've seen is that the premium packages seem to be starting on the East Coast first. And that's actually the way it was with all the allocations. It started on the East Coast and then kind of worked its way west. And so we're seeing, and you've seen some of the media people already have, TRD off-road. Some of them have the premium package already, but they got those vehicles back east. So anyway, if you're waiting for a TRD off-road premium and you are on the West Coast, it's probably going to be a little bit longer before we actually see any allocations for them. Now, how long does it take to get a vehicle built? So from the time a dealership sees an allocation, it's usually 30 to 60 days. And the reason I say that, sometimes when the dealership actually receives the allocation, the vehicle could have already been built. The vehicle gets built in a day. It typically takes, and keep in mind we're in Oregon, but it typically takes about 30 days from the time it's built till the time it arrives at the dealership. Now, this is kind of strange. So the vehicles, the Tacomas, are being built in Mexico. They're loaded on a truck. They have a short transport till they hit the port. There they're put on a vessel and shipped up to San Diego, I think it is. Actually, I've seen some of them in the Bay Area. But anyway, it's put on the vessel. It's taken up to the Bay Area there in California. And then it's put on a rail car, and at least for us, shipped out. Now, it could be different for people in other areas, but because it's coming from out of country, it's just like a vehicle that's coming from Japan. Once it hits the port, it goes through kind of like immigrations. They call it processing, but it will take 10 days to 2 weeks from the time it actually hits the port until it gets released. So when I say it normally takes 30 days, that's typically what it takes for most vehicles. I have seen some get held up at the port, for us anyway, down in San Diego. Takes a little bit longer. So if it's being held up, that could be part of the issue. But anyway, it typically takes 30 days. So when a dealership sees an allocation, that vehicle could be being built, in the next 30 days or so. I've seen some of them out as far as 45 days. So 45 days, and then it takes another 30 days to receive the vehicle. So just kind of keep that in mind. But anyway, if there's any other questions you guys have regarding the vehicles, unfortunately, since I don't have mine yet, I don't have a lot of information. I've just kind of been watching what I can see in Toyota's inventory system, and quite honestly, the packaging seems very confusing. You can go on to Toyota.com and you can build a vehicle, but yet it's hard to know, because you don't get to pick and choose, and the dealership can't order what you want. It's hard to know exactly how the vehicle is going to come equipped. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. As soon as I get my Tacoma, or we receive a Tacoma, in fact our dealership hasn't even received one yet, but as soon as we do, I'll start doing reviews on it and kind of go over the options and packaging, just so you kind of know how and what to expect. But we should be receiving our next one probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So thanks again for watching. Take the time to like and subscribe if you'd like more information. As soon as I do receive my Tacoma, or they start hitting the ground, I'll start coming out with weekly content, and we'll help you guys just to know what to expect and maybe answer some questions you may have. So thanks again. Have a great day.